I got a package. 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 You want me to open it? Okay. Whee! What's poppin', pepperonis? It's your boy Dr. Radical. I like to enjoy life one slice at a time, and I hope you do too. In today's video, I'm going to be unboxing and setting up my new MSI gaming laptop. I specifically chose the Thin A15, and it's not the strongest laptop that's on the market, and it's certainly not brand new, but let me tell you, it's what I'm looking for, especially when it comes to true gaming. Now, I'm sure there's a couple questions that you're going to be asking during this video, and I will probably answer most of them and leave the rest up to mystery. Now, the first question you're probably going to ask yourself is, if I have a desktop, why would I purchase a laptop? And there are quite a few reasons. The first reason being that when I travel for work or conventions or just to go hang out with my friends for the weekend, I want to be able to game on the fly with no questions asked. Now, purchasing this laptop specifically, there are a few sacrifices that I had to make, but it's honestly, price to performance wise, not much different than my gaming desktop. It's got a Ryzen 9 8945HS, which according to what I've seen on the internet, because everything there is believable, but I'm going to go ahead and believe it anyway, but it's equivalent to the Ryzen 9 7800X, 16 gigabytes of DDR5 5600 RAM. We have a separate dedicated GPU, which is an RTX 4060, and a 144Hz display. Now, granted, the first downside is that the 4060 is only an 8 gigabyte card. But, believe it or not, I was using a 3060 up until about 6 months ago on my desktop. So I've gotten used to turning my settings down a little bit when necessary. But the fact that the RAM itself is upgradable, I will probably take advantage of later down the road. And this laptop does support up to 64 gigs of RAM, which is a nice feature. It's also got some pretty standard laptop features, which include Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.3, a couple of USB 3.2 ports, and it does support HDMI 2.1. Now, I know for a fact that there are other laptops out there that are better, but specifically with the Thin A15, it was originally priced at $11.99 USD, and I was able to get it on sale for $8.99 USD, and MSI and Newegg were running a special that you would get a $200 rebate card, totaling the price to $6.99 USD. So the way that I look at it is I've spent almost $2,000 into my gaming desktop, and that's an understatement, really. And to spend roughly $700 to get slightly lower performance on the go, I mean, realistically, it's a win. I didn't need something that was top of the line because primarily the games that I play aren't super graphic intense. When I'm on the go and typically visiting friends, I mean, we'll play games like Fortnite or Destiny 2, or, you know, when everybody else is asleep, I'm the last one awake, I'll play Apex Legends, and I'm perfectly comfortable with turning the graphic settings down and just running it on, like, low to medium. So I didn't need this thing to be an absolute monster. I needed to get something that was almost as good as my desktop, that I could totally travel with, and using Steam's remote play feature, I can load the game from my desktop at home and play the game on my laptop wherever I'm at. It might not be perfect, but it's definitely an option that I'm going to take advantage of and try out. Now, one of the cool things that I liked about this selection in particular is that it came with a 1 terabyte M.2 storage drive, which I will be able to upgrade later, and obviously I'm going to put another 4 terabyte in this thing. So I'm going to be able to install almost every single Steam game, and if I want to edit some videos or run Photoshop while I'm on the go, I have the ability to do so, and I can still run all my emulated games with no problems. And that's what I wanted more than anything. Now, this display is 144 Hz with a minimal response time, but obviously I can hook it up to another monitor or a TV wherever I'm at. But the fact that it's that good and just good enough for what I need is exactly why I bought it. When I was looking at laptops, one of the other defining features about this one in particular is that it's made by MSI, which in my desktop, I'm using an MSI motherboard. So it just made sense to kind of stick on brand with something that I'm already familiar with, because it already came included with MSI Center, which I can use for tweaking, and I was able to install the NVIDIA app and get the drivers up to date. Now, I haven't done any benchmarks with this yet, and I haven't used it long term, but I'm already really digging this. I mean, look at that keyboard. It's in my brand color, so I'm not gonna mess with it. I think it looks great. And if you don't like it, that's okay, because it's not your laptop. I will say there were a couple of things about this laptop in particular that kind of irk me, but I can get around them. For example, the bottom right corners of where the trackpad are at, like on the edges or bezels, whatever you want to call them, they're kind of sharp. And I accidentally ran my hand against it and I was like, oh, I don't like this. And using the trackpad is not a great experience. But I actually own a Razer Naga V2 Hyperspeed, which I can just plug in and use on the go. Now, as far as first impressions go, I was thoroughly impressed with how easy it was to set this up and be ready to go. I did the typical Windows 11 installation and signed in with my Windows account and installed a few applications, and I was 100% ready to go. And it took less than 30 minutes from me opening the box to having my laptop ready. Now, one of the other things I noticed is that when I actually turn the fans on for cooling inside this thing, they sound like a turbine engine. They are super loud. Luckily, I own a pair of Beyerdynamic DT990 Pros, so I'm not even gonna hear it, and it's not gonna bother me a bit. Or even when I'm using my Apple earbuds, I'm not gonna hear the fans, I'm gonna hear the game, and that's, at the end of the day, that's all I'm gonna care about. My point is that if you're looking for a gaming laptop and you're not looking for something intense that's not going to break your bank, honestly, go with MSI. From my experience and from the friends that I've spoken to with experience with MSI, they're a super reliable product and a fairly solid bang for your buck option. You're not going to get 64 gigs of RAM out of the box unless you want to pay for that. And the option that you choose might not have the strongest GPU that's on the market, but unless the idea of money burning in your pocket is absolutely abysmal to you, then yeah, you can shop for more expensive options. And MSI has them too. But even at standard retail price, a 4060 laptop with 1 terabyte of storage and 16 gigs of RAM for $1,100 really isn't a bad deal. But I knew that if I didn't get this while I was on sale, I was really gonna regret it. One of the things I didn't consider until I actually opened the laptop is that if I wanted to, I could get a capture card and just hook it up to the laptop, and using Meld, I could have a dual PC streaming setup and be ready to go. And honestly, that excites me more than I thought it would, because I can run my games on my desktop at absolute maximum settings and not have to suffer any streaming or recording performance. It's just ready to go. Once I have some more time with this laptop, I'll probably post some shorts or other short form content and give you more of an update with my experience after I've actually gotten to travel with it. But until that happens, you're just gonna have to stick around and stay tuned and stay rad.